All right. As much as I praised the first match, which was fully praiseworthy for me, right? I didn't hardly pick on it at all. This one was everything in the opposite direction. And it made me, while I was not enjoying the match, it made me look at what they were doing technically, and I enjoyed it even less. Did you notice the cameras, besides the fact that the Elimination Chamber is supposed to be this dangerous environment where everybody's putting their lives on the line, there's 2 floor camera guys in the cage, just over in the corner, shooting everything. They're not nervous, but besides that, they had it was like 90s WCW. They're standing on the ring apron. They're shooting at eye level with the guys standing up in the ring. So they're shooting down on bumps. They're shooting at the same level as the guys. A hard camera, as they call them, or the play-by-play camera up in the stand shoots down, yes, to get the entire scene of the ring. And from a distance, or from that kind of distance, the bumps still look big and the guys still look bigger than life. But when you've got a floor camera or a handheld camera, we call them floor cameras because they should be on the floor. When you've got a handheld that's as tall as the guys in the ring, a body slam, you're looking down at it. You see what I'm saying? A backdrop is not as big because you're not looking up at it. And the guys are not as big because you're not looking up at them from a handheld shooting up from the floor. And that was very 90s WCW-ish when they started letting the television production overwhelm the wrestling rather than the other way around. And I just don't like that. It diminishes some of the things. And they started this match completely opposite of how I've said that I really liked the way they started the first match. And somebody's going to say, well, of course, they were trying to do something different. Well, my response is, if you can't do it right, just don't have 2 of these matches on the same fucking show. Orton and Hardy started on the ramp out, around the apron, and were bashing each other off the cage and fighting, with no bumps and no running and no real spots right off the start. Then they fucking bump into the ring and grab a fucking hold. So it was almost reverse what they did before. So they started off with the fighting into the cage and bashing each other off of that, and then go in the ring and grab a hold, and then Orton stops Hardy and gets methodical heat in this first fucking segment. I thought that slowed it down. I didn't know Orton would be making such a quick exit. I don't know if Orton knew he'd be making such a quick exit, because that obviously wasn't what they were trying to do later on. Then McIntyre comes in. Here, once again, remember I said how the guys in the first match, even though they were babyface and heels, they kind of did, even when they fought each other, what those people would do. Well, here comes Drew McIntyre, who has been portrayed as their brand new face of the company type babyface, supposedly all year. Beat Brock Lesnar, blah, blah, blah. Of course he's going to kick Randy Orton's ass, but then he grabs Jeff Hardy. He fucking suplexed him into the fucking cage and on the ramp, and then lawn darted him into one of the pods trying to fucking end his career. What has Jeff Hardy done to Drew McIntyre that he should do those things to him? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just we're just all going to do devastating moves to each other, regardless of whether that's our personalities or whether, can you see if this match was taking place in the Hogan era, Hogan coming in and picking up Tito Santana and just fucking spearing him into the goddamn cage for no reason. And some people would boo Hulk Hogan because now you're supposedly forcing these babyfaces fans to pick whose side they're on. And anytime Drew McIntyre beats up another obvious babyface, he's splitting his perception. Anyway, Kofi Kingston comes in next, and his gear looks like a unicorn puked, and he's wearing tennis shoes, and what the fuck? He had a sloppy fight with Randy Orton with basically no bumps. They just sloppy fighted. And then Orton stopped him with a broad arm, and told him something, and then stood up and fed him a leg, and he looked like he was almost going to roll into a Fuller leg lock, but didn't. Instead, just did something that Randy stayed down for. 1, 2, 3. What the fuck was that?
I don't know. I was surprised by that.
It's nothing I've ever seen before, and it obviously wasn't meant to be that way. That's the only thing that we can say with any degree of certainty. And it was very odd. These are both athletic guys. They could have gone into some kind of spot, up and over, down, boom, roll up, whatever the fuck. But they just had a sloppy fight. Randy stops him, picks him up, tells him something, and then stands there and then gets fucking half-assed rolled up in some kind of way. And then it wasn't that Orton was telling him, I'm hurt, pin me now. Because as soon as that happened, Orton jumps up, RKO's Kofi, RKO's Jeff Hardy, and fucking leaves in a huff with the aside that we shall neither nod nor speak again to Kofi and Hardy. I mean, what was that? I'm trying to figure out how somebody could have laid it out verbally and them gone over it and it come out looking like that.
I don't know who agents these matches.
Well, I guarantee you that wasn't their thought or recommendation, not how it turned out at least. Anyway, at this point, AJ Styles' giant 8-foot bodyguard Amos ripped AJ's plexiglass sheet out so AJ could escape from the pod, and the announcers acted like it was goddamn Superman busting through the bank vault. Besides the fact that somebody had got thrown into the plexiglass in the previous match and it knocked the back right out of it, you could see that it was just fucking plexiglass. It wasn't Kane ripping the cage door off. Was it? Did I miss something? Did he have to rip off a metal trim around this or exert some type of superhuman strength, or did he just pull the plexiglass out?
It looked like he got his fingers underneath the bottom of it and then just yanked on it.
Well, hopefully if I ever go off a fucking bridge into a river in my car and need to escape, I'll have Amos in the car with me. So Adam Pearce comes and kicks Amos out of ringside, but let AJ stay in the match. Then Drew McIntyre beat up Jeff Hardy some more, like he owed him trans. Then AJ beat up Kofi and Drew. Then Kofi beat up AJ and Drew. And that's when I wrote this. There's no heel or face or story here. It's guys doing equivalent things to each other. And who am I supposed to cheer for? Because they're all acting like pricks. And then Drew suplexed Kofi into the fucking ramp and then killed Jeff Hardy again. How, in this scenario, in this match, how is it possible to cheat? How does a babyface get sympathy? How does a heel get heat? How does a big move register? In the first match, they timed and spaced out their big moves and their all shit moments or whatever, and so that they could sell them afterwards and register. This is just back and forth. And then here comes Sheamus. Sheamus comes in and gets in a hockey fight with Drew McIntyre. It lasted forever before anybody did anything. And then here was another thing. Sheamus starts grinding Drew McIntyre's face into the cage. We've now had 2 cage matches with a dozen of the fucking top guys in the company, not 1 ounce of blood. Not 1 drop of blood in 2 main event cage matches. What? If you can't have blood in a cage match, it's like a low-fat Twinkie. If you can't stand eating the fat, don't have the fucking Twinkie, right? If you can't have blood, why have a cage match? So at this point, Kofi dove on everybody, but he didn't beat anybody. I kind of zoned out. Then Sheamus beat Kofi. Then Drew beat Hardy. And then that was Jeff swantoned AJ and had him, right? Was going to beat him there. But then Drew McIntyre comes and hits a Claymore kick on Jeff Hardy as soon as he stands up from his blind side and pins him 1, 2, 3. What a baby face. He hits the other baby face from the blind side with an unexpected fucking move, 1, 2, 3. You're telling me that they could not have figured out a way for potentially AJ to fucking defeat Jeff so that he wouldn't have to go down to for fuck's sake. Anyway, AJ goes for the springboard flip on Drew McIntyre. Did you see this one? And landed right on fucking top of him.
Yeah, I did see that, and it really stuck out because, I mean, that was pretty stiff. How do you let that happen? Jesus.
Well, if you go back and watch when AJ did the springboard and he got up on top, AJ never bobbles. AJ's balance is like a cat. He never, fumfers or whatever. He sprung up and put his feet on the top rope, and then there was a double pump. And from the first pump to the second pump, he started leaning more towards into the ring. So when he kicked off, his momentum took him a little farther. Here's what I couldn't figure out. Was he going for a flip into a leg drop? Because that's kind of what he almost did, but he landed on fucking Drew, his back right on fucking Drew's stomach. Was he going for what he did moments later, which I can't believe Drew McIntyre laid there and let him the second time, which was a fucking, like a 360 splash, right? All the way over into a splash. When he got up to the top rope, did he see that Drew was in a disadvantageous place and tried to modify? Probably. And it didn't fucking work. But goddamn, after the first one, seconds later, he's got him back in position. He goes out. He does another springboard into a spot. I'm like, fuck you. Try that again in this match. I will not be there. And then here comes Sheamus, and he grabs AJ. Now, Sheamus is...
Why do you call him that?
That's the way it's spelled. S-E-A-M-U-S.
There's an H.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
I've seen it S-E-A-M-U-S.
It's S-A... Hold on. Now you got me questioned. Shame us WWE. It's S-H-E-A-M-U-S.
Well, I've only seen it without an H.
Where did you see this?
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at Wikipedia. I'm looking at his official WWE Twitter account. His official WWE page.
You want to be all fucking official. Anyway, so here's what I didn't understand here. Sheamus grabs AJ by the hair and is trash talking him in the face and bullying him around. Is Sheamus not a heel? He's a heel, right?
I think.
Because when he and McIntyre got face to face with each other, they were fucking throwing hands. So why is a heel trash talking another heel? How are you going to get heat trash talking the little Weasley heel? I don't. And AJ suddenly starts selling like a babyface. But then Sheamus, come back, Sheamus. Sheamus, come back. Hit fucking McIntyre with one of those kicks, but AJ hits him with the phenomenal forearm from behind like McIntyre did to fucking Hardy and steals it. And then McIntyre hit AJ with a kick when AJ went for another springboard. McIntyre hit him with his Claymore kick in midair, 1, 2, 3. And the timing on that, I have to say, was beautiful. And not a lot of margin for error. Wonderful there. However, Drew McIntyre is still the champion. Then here comes Lashley, who just didn't win his match. Regardless whether he didn't get beat, he didn't win. And he kicks the complete shit out of Drew McIntyre in a very convincing manner and leaves him laying. So, okay. In that case, I think we'll probably see Lashley and McIntyre for the title at WrestleMania. That would make sense. Except what the... Here comes Frog Face with the briefcase. That stupid briefcase, the Money in the Bank thing, that stupid idea that everybody has copied. And they do it the same way every time. It might have got heat the first 5 or 6 times. The champion is down. Here comes the guy to cash in. The announcers actually said Drew said he could go when you could clearly see that he had not said he could go because he didn't say anything. Because it would be stupid for him to say he could go. They probably mixed up their notes with Daniel Bryan previously, who did say that he could go. But it would negate the heat if Drew had said that here, and Miz basically did his third-rate version of Dennis Condrey's facebuster, sloppily. 1, 2, 3. The fucking Miz. Miz the frog face. After all that they've put into Drew McIntyre, Miz the frog face beats Drew McIntyre for the WWF, one of the world championships. What the fuck? Seriously? Even if it's a swerve, okay, they're going to do something on TV or at the pay-per-view in between now and WrestleMania where Miz drops the thing to so-and-so, but it's going to sweeten up the real world title match at WrestleMania or whatever. But still, for fuck's sake, that was a shit ending to an unexceptional match, in my opinion.
Well, here are the sad options we have. McIntyre could win the title back before WrestleMania. I said this when he lost the title to Randy Orton. He shouldn't be losing the title. He won it for Brock Lesnar last year at WrestleMania. Should have just been a complete year killing people, establishing himself as a new star.
And then won this match just as he did, and then Lashley jump him just as he did, and then go to WrestleMania, hopefully as they are, and that would have made sense.
Bingo. And you set up that Lashley lost the U.S. title without actually losing the match. So he's strong. Lashley McIntyre, world title, universal title, I don't know what is what anymore, at Mania. Here's the other sad option. Are we going to get The Miz defending the WWE world title or universal title, whatever it is, against Bad Bunny at WrestleMania?
No, I don't think even they have the balls to do something like that. They would know what kind of shit they would take.
I think they have the balls to do something like that. He's selling merch better than anyone they have there. He's a big star. He wants to do more in wrestling. They've set him up with this thing with The Miz already. I mean, it's basically him and Damian Priest against The Miz and Morrison as the feud they've set up a little bit. I don't think they're going to put Damian Priest in that spot yet. It would be nice if they did, but...
Well, they can have a tag match. That'd be just fine. I think that almost anybody who still sticks with them, any longtime fan especially, would burn their WWE membership cards if they got a world title match of Bad Bunny versus The Miz. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
And if that does happen, then I would like to alert everyone to someone that can help you out, because we will all need it. Folks, if Bugs Bunny faces Frog-Face Miz for the WWE Championship at the main event at WrestleMania, I urge all of you now to contact BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a professional counseling service done securely online that we could all talk to in a moment of crisis, whether it's Bugs Bunny potentially being the WWE champion or any other problem you might have. If you don't want to go out in public, if you don't have therapy available in your area, if you don't want to go in the middle of a pandemic and sit in a waiting room, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. You can change counselors to find the right fit. They want you to start living a happier life today. You can go to BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com, BetterHelp.com/JCE. And right now, you can get 10% off your first month's services. BetterHelp.com/JCE, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. And we thank the folks at BetterHelp for sponsoring the Drive-Thru and giving 10% off the first month's services to all of our Cult of Cornette members.